Meghan Markle's fashion freeze-out. She has been dumped by Balenciaga. You stupid cow! Like, how many times have I told you don't be a...
She is reportedly working on a cookbook.
Dumped by Balenciaga just 1 year after she thought, I'm going to invite myself appearance at Paris Fashion Week was going to change her career for good.
That, unfortunately, when doing business with Meghan, there's no attention for anyone else but Meghan. And it is almost always negative.
I think he has made a smart move, although it was a very, I would say, unwise move to have her in the first place. I mean, Paula, people should never forget that she used that moment to very obviously, I think, stoke the deep emotional trauma still suffered by her husband, and also attempt to create all of the wrong headlines.
Instead of celebrating another glamorous fashion victory, Meghan Markle is now facing fresh claims that have everyone talking. The latest controversy centers on Balenciaga, where critics are asking why she was completely absent from the fashion house's biggest event of the year. Less than a year ago, Meghan arrived in Paris wearing a custom white Balenciaga look, and the appearance was presented by her team as something much bigger than a single red carpet moment. It looked like the beginning of an exciting new relationship with one of the world's most exclusive luxury brands. Cameras rushed toward her. Photographers shouted her name from every direction. Her arrival made headlines across the globe, and the atmosphere suggested Meghan believed Paris had finally delivered the high fashion comeback that Hollywood never fully gave her. Now the spotlight has shifted. Pierpaolo Piccioli has officially unveiled his first couture collection for Balenciaga, easily the biggest milestone of his career with the legendary fashion house, yet Meghan was nowhere to be seen. For Meghan,
is that she really thought this was going to be yet another reinvention. It would really help her one-off, and she knew one-off was coming. But the thing is she sucked all the oxygen out of the room. Her behavior was so bizarre. She showed up to the original, his debut show. This was Pierpaolo's first show for Balenciaga. It was a very big deal. She showed up late. Now, number one, you don't show up late, but you definitely don't show up late when Anna Wintour shows up half an hour early. Anna Wintour is kind of seen as the period on the end of the sentence. Nothing comes after Anna. So she sat down and everyone just sat there and waited and waited. And finally, Meghan waltzes in and with her head held high as if she's royalty, and stops, does all the photos, all of this, and makes it even later, then sits down, proceeds to giggle as a model trips on the runway. She was quickly silenced by her good friend Marcus. And it just was so bizarre. She didn't even go to the after party.
That was so crude.
Attending an event like this has never been only about the clothing. It is about standing where the biggest cameras gather, attracting worldwide headlines, creating unforgettable photos, and reminding everyone that she still belongs among the world's most influential celebrity circles. According to journalist Paula Froelich, a fashion source claimed Meghan was not invited because of what allegedly happened during her previous appearance. The reported message was striking. Pierpaolo allegedly wanted the focus to stay on his designs instead of shifting toward Meghan. That claim has generated intense debate online.
I still believe that the UK trip was a total epic disaster. And I understand they got the private meeting with the King and Queen, but just hear me out on this, right? Because what she didn't receive was the photo opportunity that she so desperately wanted. What she didn't get was the chance to unveil the children's faces at a public royal event or royal adjacent event, which would have then allowed her to spend the next year pimping out the kids as much as possible for her business. And Meghan could have gone. Paula reveals she was in Europe, not in London, supporting her husband during what turned into his worst week in 30 years. And while she had the children with her, she travels with a nanny, so it would have been fine. She just wasn't invited again.
She didn't even bother going to the after party. Her team let it slip that she was a collaborator with Pierpaolo. And it's just very odd. You don't take away from someone's big achievement on their first big show for a major design house. So, this time around, they were like, yeah, no, this was his debut couture show. It was very important for him, and it just wasn't going to happen.
Balenciaga has never publicly confirmed those claims, and Pierpaolo himself has not announced any ban or exclusion. Even so, Meghan's absence has fueled an uncomfortable question that continues to grow louder. If the friendship is truly as close as many believed, and if future collaborations were genuinely expected, why was she missing from the single most important night of his Balenciaga career? After all, this was never simply about fashion. It was about visibility, global attention, flashing cameras, front-page headlines, and the kind of publicity Meghan urgently needs as questions continue to swirl about her influence and celebrity standing.
Remember, he quietly deflated the whole mythology in an interview with The Cut at his after-party, saying him and Meghan met some years ago, they've been texting ever since, and she reached out to say she would love to come to the show. So while his team agreed to pay a reported $250,000. Now look, I know to you or me, that sounds like a lot, but Paula says it's for her flights, hotels, cars, and outfits. Actually, not that much in this world. She says, considering it was part of the PR boost for the show, no one knew it would be hijacked. But fashion observers were irate. A collaborator? Who does she think she is? Beyonce? My source last. An audience that included real front row stars like Demi Moore, Cynthia Erivo, and Naomi Watts. But as Paula rightfully notes, noticeably one person was not at the show. His supposed good friend and collaborator, according to her, the Duchess of Sussex.
And the difficult headlines did not stop there. Almost immediately afterward, Meghan quietly returned to Britain alongside Harry and their children. She finally stepped inside Highgrove. She reportedly met with King Charles and Queen Camilla. Yet despite how significant that visit appeared, there were no official photographs, no carefully staged public moments, and no widely shared images that could have turned the reunion into the global Meghan moment many expected. Instead, the visit remained remarkably private, leaving the public conversation focused on what was missing rather than what actually happened. Everything about the visit stayed behind closed doors, and that silence quickly became part of the story. There was no glamorous family portrait, no palace balcony appearance, no walk beside the king, and no public show of support. Meghan arrived quietly, met privately, and left just as quietly. That may help protect a delicate family relationship, but it does little for a celebrity brand that depends on being seen. Then Paris entered the conversation.
Meanwhile, she also wasn't invited to a Chanel event, which took place at Highgrove during the time she and Harry were in residence. The legendary fashion house just celebrated the graduating fellows of its art embroidery fellowships in partnership with the King's Foundation in the King's Own Gardens, and Meghan was not there. She must have been too busy with the cookbook the Times of London reported she has been working on.
Now, a lot of people assumed that because she has a high Q rating and everyone knows who she is, that it would get them a lot of attention and the PR would rub off on them. Unfortunately, it is all negative, and people don't buy the products that she shills. They want to see her and read about her. And even the people who say they don't, they do, because it's all schadenfreude. But at the same time, they do not want to buy those products that are associated with her.
One striking Balenciaga appearance could have completely shifted the headlines surrounding Meghan's week. She could have projected confidence, luxury, and influence, while Harry's legal setback and uncomfortable podcast coverage dominated the news in Britain. Instead of being remembered as a private royal visitor, she could have reinforced the image of an international fashion figure. She could have signalled that the Duchess still had a place in one of fashion's most exclusive circles. But according to the reports, that invitation never arrived. The twist is that Meghan's previous Balenciaga appearance had already been presented as proof that she belonged within Pierpaolo Piccioli's inner circle. Her spokesperson described a relationship that had developed over several years and suggested they had worked closely together on important designs. That description sounded far beyond a simple friendship. It suggested Meghan had become a trusted creative collaborator and someone who played a meaningful role in his next chapter. Then, Pierpaolo offered his own version during an interview with The Cut. He explained that Meghan reached out because she wanted to attend the show. He said they had known each other for years and had stayed in touch through text messages. The detail that stood out was simple. Meghan contacted him first, expressed interest in coming, and his team welcomed her while keeping the appearance a surprise. That account sounded much more modest than the version many people had assumed. There is nothing awkward about asking a friend if you can attend an event. The real debate began after Meghan's team described the relationship in a way that appeared much bigger and more professionally significant than Pierpaolo's own explanation. Her appearance became part of a larger narrative about influence, collaboration, and acceptance within the fashion world. 9 months later, Balenciaga staged its biggest event under Pierpaolo, and Meghan was missing. She was already in Europe, with every practical reason to attend if she had been expected there. Meanwhile, Demi Moore, Naomi Watts, Cynthia Erivo, and other major stars filled the audience, while Meghan's seat remained noticeably empty. Sometimes what is not seen makes the loudest statement of all. Meghan Markle's absence from Balenciaga's biggest night has sparked even more discussion because the fashion house never had to say a single word. There was no official rejection, no public denial. Pierpaolo Piccioli did not release a statement explaining their friendship or distancing himself from Meghan. The show simply moved forward, the cameras flashed, the reviews poured in, and Meghan was nowhere in the spotlight. That silence has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the event. This is also why the claims about her previous appearance have attracted so much attention. According to journalist Paula Froelich, a fashion source alleged that Meghan drew too much focus toward herself during the earlier Balenciaga show. The source also claimed she arrived late, paused for photographers, and unintentionally shifted attention away from Pierpaolo's debut, turning the evening into a Meghan-centered spectacle. Balenciaga has never confirmed those allegations, and Meghan's representatives have not publicly agreed with that version of events. Even so, the claims have continued to circulate because some critics believe they fit the public image created that evening. A dramatic arrival, non-stop camera flashes, viral clips, and headlines that many felt overshadowed the designer she was there to support. Another moment also fueled online debate. A front-row video appeared to show Meghan laughing, while much of the audience remained serious. Some online commentators claimed she reacted after a model stumbled. Her spokesperson rejected that interpretation, and there is no confirmed evidence establishing what caused her reaction. The clip alone does not prove those claims. The challenge is that public perception often moves much faster than verified facts. In an industry built around image, just a few seconds of awkward footage can dominate the conversation. The video spread rapidly across social media, triggered endless debate, and shifted attention away from Pierpaolo's collection. For any designer, that is a difficult situation because the conversation no longer revolves around the fashion itself. Where Meghan goes, the spotlight often follows. Her wardrobe, expressions, royal title, security, marriage, and long-running public story all become part of the event the moment she arrives. That can make it harder for a designer or a luxury brand to control the narrative. Last year, that level of attention may have been viewed as exciting because her surprise appearance generated enormous publicity. This year, however, Pierpaolo did not appear to need that extra buzz. He already had the stars. He already had the international press. Most importantly, he already had the applause and the attention focused exactly where he wanted it. The biggest headlines are sometimes created by the people who never show up. Meghan Markle's absence from Balenciaga's biggest event has continued to fuel speculation because the fashion house never needed to issue a single statement for people to notice. There was no public rejection. No official clarification. Pierpaolo Piccioli never stepped forward to explain his friendship with Meghan or distance himself from her in any way. The couture show unfolded as planned, photographers captured, Every major arrival, glowing reviews followed, and Meghan was simply missing from the picture. That silence alone became one of the most talked about parts of the entire event. That is also why the discussion surrounding her previous Balenciaga appearance has remained so active. According to journalist Paula Froelich, a fashion source alleged that Meghan attracted too much attention during the earlier show. The source further claimed she arrived late, paused for photographers, and unintentionally shifted part of the spotlight away from Pierpaolo's debut, making the evening feel more centered on her arrival than on the collection itself. Balenciaga has never confirmed those allegations, and Meghan's representatives have not publicly endorsed that version of events. Still, the claims continue to circulate because some commentators believe they match the public impression created that evening. A dramatic entrance, non-stop camera flashes, widely shared video clips, and headlines that many felt competed with the designer she'd come to support. Another moment quickly became a topic of debate online. A front row video appeared to show Meghan smiling or laughing, while much of the audience remained serious. Some online commentators suggested the reaction came after a model stumbled. Her spokesperson disputed that interpretation, and there is no confirmed evidence establishing what prompted her expression. The short clip alone does not verify those claims. The reality is that public perception often moves far faster than confirmed facts. In the fashion world, where image is everything, only a few seconds of unexpected footage can completely reshape the conversation. The clip spread rapidly across social media, inspired endless discussion, and pulled attention away from Pierpaolo's collection. For any designer unveiling an important new chapter, that is never an ideal situation because the focus shifts away from the clothes and onto something else entirely. Whenever Meghan attends a major event, the spotlight naturally expands beyond fashion. Her wardrobe, facial expressions, royal title, security, marriage, and long-running public narrative all become part of the conversations the moment she arrives. That level of attention can make it much harder for a designer or luxury brand to control its own message. Last year, that extra publicity may have seemed valuable because her surprise appearance generated enormous worldwide interest. This year, however, Pierpaolo appeared to have everything he needed without it. He had internationally recognized stars. He had the world's fashion press. Above all, he had the applause, the critical praise, and the spotlight fixed exactly where he wanted it from beginning to end. The contrast could hardly have been sharper. The king remained at the center of the royal institution. Chanel continued building established fashion partnerships. Rising designers focused on couture. Meanwhile, Meghan was left with a private royal visit that produced no official photographs, and a Balenciaga connection that suddenly appeared far less significant than many had believed. That is why the timing has attracted so much attention. Meghan has worked to present herself as independent from the monarchy, yet her royal title continues to be one of the strongest parts of her public identity. Her upcoming appearance on MasterChef Australia highlights that reality. The episode is promoted around contestants preparing a dish fit for a duchess, not a producer, entrepreneur, or television personality. The royal connection remains the main attraction because it is still the label audiences immediately recognize. That creates an ongoing contrast. Meghan stepped away from official royal duties, yet her public profile continues to be closely linked to her royal status. At the same time, she has expanded into lifestyle projects and business ventures while seeking recognition beyond the monarchy. The Balenciaga discussion has only added to that debate because fashion was expected to demonstrate that Meghan had built influential relationships outside royal life. Paris was presented as evidence that she had established her own circle of designers, celebrities, and industry figures. Instead, Pierpaolo Piccioli's biggest Balenciaga moment arrived without her presence. Meghan did receive a Daytime Emmy nomination for With Love Meghan, providing a positive headline after months of difficult press. The series earned recognition in the AGED Outstanding Lifestyle Program category, giving her a genuine professional achievement to celebrate. Even so, her recent projects point toward lifestyle entertainment and consumer products. Alongside MasterChef Australia, her brand includes spreads, honey, tea, baking products, wine, and reported cookbook plans, suggesting her current focus has moved well beyond the high fashion image that once dominated the conversation. Meghan's public brand now leans more heavily toward lifestyle than luxury fashion. Her recent projects focus on kitchens, gardens, gift baskets, and carefully presented domestic living. There is nothing unusual about that business direction. The challenge, according to critics, is that she continues trying to balance several very different public identities at once. She presents herself as someone relatable who enjoys cooking and home life, while also embracing the image of a duchess attending exclusive couture events. She promotes a more personal lifestyle image, yet television still highlights her royal title. She values privacy during some moments while also seeking high-profile public exposure during others. Those contrasts continue to spark discussion. The Balenciaga conversation has intensified that debate. Rather than publicly responding, the fashion industry can simply shift its attention elsewhere. Designers can dress other actresses, photographers can focus on different celebrities, and front row seats can go to people whose appearances keep the spotlight on the collection itself. That possibility has become a major point of speculation because public perception cannot be reshaped as easily as a marketing campaign. A disappointing project can be followed by a new venture. A private royal meeting can be described as progress. A lifestyle program can be presented as a creative success. But no public relations strategy can create an invitation that was never issued. No carefully produced social media video can place someone inside a couture event they did not attend. No polished online campaign can transform an empty front row seat into a deliberate strategic choice. The most powerful part of Meghan's Paris appearance last year was not simply the outfit. It was the impression that she still had access to influential fashion circles. Walking into a room filled with international media suggested to supporters that leaving royal duties had not reduced her standing. This year created a very different conversation. Pierpaolo Piccioli celebrated his milestone without Meghan present. Balenciaga received widespread praise. Major stars filled the audience. The cameras kept flashing, and the fashion world moved ahead without waiting for Meghan Markle. That is why this story has generated so much discussion. Much of Meghan's public image depends on the belief that she remains connected to influential people across different industries. As one opportunity fades, attention naturally shifts towards the next, but those opportunities now appear more limited. Instead of a growing Netflix empire, the focus remains on a single lifestyle series trying to maintain momentum. Instead of an expanding podcast brand, the conversation continues to return to earlier projects and another partnership that came to an end. What looked like the beginning of a major fashion partnership now appears far less certain. Instead of an ongoing Balenciaga alliance, there was one headline-grabbing appearance followed by one highly noticeable absence. The same contrast appeared during Meghan's reported return to Britain. Rather than a public royal reunion with memorable photographs, the visit remained private, with no official images for the public to see. Meghan can still wear luxury fashion, attend celebrity events, and receive invitations. No one can honestly claim that the fashion industry has completely turned its back on her. It is also important to acknowledge the uncertainty. The anonymous source quoted by journalist Paula Froelich could be mistaken or overstating events. There may be private reasons why Meghan did not attend the Balenciaga show. Pierpaolo Piccioli may still consider her a friend. None of those possibilities can be ruled out. Even so, one question continues to dominate the discussion. Meghan's team presented last year's Paris appearance as the beginning of a meaningful relationship. Yet the biggest Balenciaga event under Pierpaolo happened without her. That is the image critics continue to focus on. Last year, Paris helped create the impression that Meghan remained an important figure in elite fashion circles. This year, Paris created a very different conversation. Last year, photographers rushed to capture her arrival. This year, the cameras were focused on other guests. Last year, her appearance was described as part of a growing creative relationship. This year, she was not part of the room at all. Naturally, that raises more questions than answers. Will Meghan make another high-profile fashion appearance to reinforce her place in the luxury world? Will attention shift toward her Emmy-nominated lifestyle series, MasterChef Australia, and the reported cookbook plans? Or will her public image continue moving away from couture and further into lifestyle entertainment? Balenciaga never had to issue a dramatic statement. The discussion grew simply because of who was and was not present, combined with a private UK visit that produced no official photographs and a public profile still closely linked to her royal title. The latest headlines have added another layer to the debate surrounding Meghan's evolving brand. Whether this becomes only a temporary setback or marks a lasting shift in how the fashion industry views her is something only time will answer. For now, the missing appearance has become almost as widely discussed as the show itself, ensuring that the conversation is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. As new public appearances, business ventures, and fashion events unfold, many observers will likely continue comparing them with this moment. Every invitation, every front row appearance, and every major project may now attract extra attention as people look for signs of where Meghan's public image is heading next. That is why this story has remained in the headlines far beyond a single fashion show. Now it's your turn. Do you think Meghan's absence from Balenciaga's biggest event was simply a scheduling decision, or do you believe it signals something much bigger? Was this just a coincidence, or does it suggest that her relationship with the fashion world is changing? Could there be another explanation that has not yet become public? Share your thoughts in the comments below because we'd love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next story. We have plenty more royal updates, fashion headlines, exclusive developments, and major stories to cover. So stay tuned because the next chapter may arrive sooner than anyone expects.